Well, a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. The homestand for Henley continues as they return back to Skyline Conference play. Today, the Hornets host the Mustangs of Hidden Valley. Josh Eldridge here, glad to be with you live from Rosser Field on the campus of Henley High School in Klamath Falls. And boy, let me tell you, we have a good one today. A couple of teams that go back and forth every season, battling for a top spot in the Skyline Conference. Both teams ranked within the top 10 in the state. Henley, with their 9-0 league mark and 14-3 overall record, are the sixth best team according to the OSAA Power Rankings. Hidden Valley, New Hope Christian, this co-op is 13-5 overall, 8-1 in league play. They are number 10 in the OSAA Power Rankings, and within a game of each other in the conference race. The only thing separating them was a win for the Hornets back on April 11th when Henley defended their home field here at Rosser 5-2 against the Hidden Valley Mustangs. We'll talk a little bit about that game, and we'll get you ready for this one in front of us. Today begins a 3-game series this week with a single 7-inning game played today and a doubleheader to follow on Saturday. We'll be back to recap it all for you, plus give you your Kyle's Lawn Care starting lineups on the other side. This is Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com.
Parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
At MyBasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Josh Eldridge welcoming you back to Henley High School, the site of Hornets baseball today on 104.3 and 960 Sports, with live free video available on MyBasin.com. The Hornets getting ready to take on the Hidden Valley Mustangs. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and introduce you to the Kyle's Lawn Care starting nine. And we'll start with the visitors today. That would be the Hidden Valley Mustangs. Leading off and in center field is Caden Cooner. Wiley Mendez plays shortstop and bats second, followed by the catcher, Elijah Zauer, hitting third. Jack Matthew is batting cleanup in left field, followed by the first baseman, Mauricio Mendez, batting fifth. Logan Law, the pitcher, bats sixth, followed by Hunter Gillette, the third baseman, hitting seventh. Gunnar Johnson, the designated hitter, bats 8th, followed by Landon Nash, the right fielder, hitting 9th for Hidden Valley. They'll go up against Mark Carpenter on the mound as the Hornets get ready to take the field, and we will introduce you to their starting lineup. Leading off is the pitcher. That's Mark Carpenter. Connor Shively bats second at shortstop, followed by Jacoby Takini. The catcher hits third. Max Price hits cleanup at second base. Bo Pyle, the designated hitter, bats 5th. Hitting 6th is the third baseman, Derek Cox, followed by Corbin Hamilton at first base, batting 7th. Carson Pimley is in right field, hitting 8th, followed by Ryan Douglas, the center fielder, batting 9th for the Hornets. So today, Henley, of course, in their traditional navy blue tops. Henley written across their chest in navy blue text with a yellow outline, their gray pants today. Hidden Valley in their black tops with Mustangs written in cursive across their chest in orange. And they've got gray pants with gray caps for the Mustangs from Hidden Valley. As we take a look now at the season numbers for the man on the mound, and that's Mark Carpenter. Boy, Mark Carpenter having a great time last time out. We'll talk about just that specific outing in a bit. But so far, a 6-0 record. The young man is making his 7th start of the season. In 40 innings pitched, Carpenter with an ERA of .7. That is tops in the Skyline Conference. And like I said, was talking about Carpenter's last outing. So I'll pull up the numbers for that as well against Junction City back on Saturday. 6 innings pitched for Carpenter. He picked up the win. He allowed 2 hits across that time. He struck out 12 batters. If we get a dose of that Mark Carpenter today, he's going to prove to be a difficult task for these Mustang hitters. But they've got a serviceable offense of their own. You look at their team statistics. We'll talk about each individual player as the game moves on. But as a team, batting .245, they get on base at a percentage of .394. And in our conference, you look at their overall run production, it nearly meets Henley's offensive output. 138 runs scored this season compared to 160 for Henley. Now, where Hidden Valley themselves may have an edge is a really solid pitching staff. Only 42 runs allowed this season compared to 44 for Henley. Both very good. As a matter of fact, those are the top 2 defenses, or pitching staffs rather, in the state. As in terms of runs allowed, they have allowed the fewest. Have the Mustangs, followed by Henley's. It looks like we are just about ready to get started today. As in steps Caden Coonert from the left side, and he will get us started a couple minutes ahead of schedule today from Rosser Field, as Carpenter gets ready to deliver the first pitch. It's hit in the air, center field. Ryan Douglas moving in. He's going to have that one drop in front of him, and a leadoff single for Caden Coonert. It's the Mustangs in some business to start the top of the first inning. So that will bring up Wiley Mendez for the Hidden Valley Mustangs. Introduce you to the defensive order for the Hornets here in just a minute after the first pitch to Mendez. The leadoff single for Coonert has him aboard at first. Carpenter comes set out of the stretch now, having to move over early. On the move is the runner Coonert, but a foul ball will move the count to 0-1. To Wiley Mendez. Mendez this season batting .267 for the Mustangs. Other half of the Henley battery behind home plate, as has been the case for every game this season, is the freshman Jacoby Takini as he delivers the sign to Carpenter, the 0-1. Mark will take a move over to first, throws it over to Corbin Hamilton. Max Price plays second. Connor Shively plays third. Derek Cox at third. Chase Barrett in left, Ryan Douglas in center, and Carson Pimley in right. And still an 0-1. Now showing bunt is Mendez. Lays it down the third base line, but it's fielded in foul territory, so the count now moves to 0-2 to the Hidden Valley shortstop. Mustangs coming into the game today come off a 3-game sweep last week of Mazama. They defeated the Vikings 19-2 a week ago. And then on Saturday, a doubleheader sweep where they beat Mazama 3-1 and 10-1. Carpenter ready to deliver the 0-2 to Wiley Mendez. That one's lined right back up the middle. That's also going to get down in front of Douglas. A big turnaround second is Coonert, but he'll stay put. Back-to-back singles against Carpenter. And there's a man in scoring position now for Hidden Valley. This will bring up Elijah Zauer for Hidden Valley. Zauer second on the team in hitting this year. Matter of fact, might have to make an amendment to that. Third on the team in hitting this year. 2 home runs on the season for Zauer. That puts him tied for second in the conference. Would love an opportunity to help his team jump all over Carpenter early. You never know how many chances like this you're going to get against a solid right-hander like Carpenter. This time he throws in a breaking pitch. Zauer shows bunt but pulls back in time. It's called a strike anyway. The count now 0-1 to the Hidden Valley catcher with Jack Matthew waiting on deck. Corners in on the cut of the grass. Hamilton at first, Derek Cox at third. Force at any base, still nobody out, top of the first inning. Scoreless, and the 0-1 on its way to Elijah Zauer. That one looked to be an off-speed pitch, missed below the zone. The count even now, a ball and a strike to Zauer. Looking at the Mustangs' previous couple of series, before that 3-game sweep of Mazama, they played a non-league doubleheader on Saturday the 26th against Scappoose. Actually lost both games to the Indians, 4-1 and 8-3. Here's the 1-1. That one again misses below the zone and probably a touch outside as well. Carpenter falls behind 2-1 to Elijah Zauer. Small lead off of first for Mendez. He's got Kunert in front of him, and he doesn't have much of a lead to speak of out there either. The shortstop, Shively, tried to keep him honest as Carpenter comes set, ready to deliver the 2-1. Here it is. That one, a curveball, finds the zone. Very similar to the first pitch that Carpenter gave Zauer, a breaking ball that starts up and then dips, first of all, across the plate, but then changes your eye level too. He's able to get Zauer looking that time. Now we'll see where he goes in a 2-2 count. Carpenter comes set. Kicks, fires. That fastball sails on him. Nearly got past Takini, but the freshman pops out of his stance in time to keep it in front of him. As much as Takini can get in the dirt and block a baseball, he can also pop up like that. Just a serviceable guy behind home plate, probably saving 2 guys from advancing into scoring position right there. So now the count is full to Elijah Zauer. Top of the first inning, still scoreless. 2 runners on for Hidden Valley. Kunert at second, Mendez at first. Both reached on singles to center field. Here's the 3-2 on its way to Zauer. That one is fouled off, straight back, so we'll do it again. 3-2. Battle brewing here between the catcher for Hidden Valley, one of the best hitters in the conference, and arguably the best pitcher in the conference in Mark Carpenter. Again, Jack Matthew waiting his turn. This is a valuable at-bat early in the game. Like I said, you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get against Carpenter, so the more pitches you see against him, the more beneficial it'll be later in a game. Here's the 3-2. That one's hit weakly to left field, but it's going to get down in front of the left fielder, Barrett. They're holding up Kunert at third, so the bases are loaded on back-to-back-to-back singles for the cleanup hitter, Jack Matthew. That's why they call you the cleanup hitter for Jack Matthew. This is the exact situation that they want you up in. Jack Matthew having a good season as a hitter so far, batting just below 300 right now on the season, but where Jack Matthew really does make his impact is when he's able to get on the mound. Right now in left field, defensively for Hidden Valley, but he is 5th in the conference in total strikeouts on the mound. See if he can do it on both ends here as he takes a pitch low in the dirt. The count 1-0 to the Hidden Valley left fielder. On deck is the first baseman, Mauricio Mendez. Corners in again for Henley. They may try to go home on a hard hit ball in the infield, cut down the runner, but up the middle Henley going to turn 2 with Shively and Price playing at double play depth. Here's the 1-0. That one is hit on the ground right over second base. Price is going to tap on the bag for 1 and throw it on to Hamilton for 2. So a 4-3 double play makes it 2 outs in the first, but Caden Cooner does come in to score. And so Hidden Valley takes a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. That'll leave 1 runner at third with 2 outs for Mauricio Mendez. Carpenter was able to get out of this inning with just 1 run allowed. I think you'd count that as a win, but still got to get through Mendez, the number 5 hitter in the order. This time a curveball dips low. The count 1-0 to Mendez. Tall player, tall batting stance for Mendez, multi-sport athlete for Hidden Valley. This is a roller out to second. Price gets up with it, throws on to first. It's a high throw, but Hamilton brings it in to end the inning. 1 run on 3 hits for Hidden Valley. They leave a man stranded, but they take an early lead, up 1-0, heading to the bottom of the first after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Josh Eldridge back with you from Rosser Field on the campus of Henley High School for this matchup between the Hornets and the Mustangs of Hidden Valley. Of course, the top of the order for Henley due up as they try to answer the call and either tie or retake the lead here. Hidden Valley scored in the top of the first, so it'll be up to Mark Carpenter, Connor Shively, and Jacoby Tacchini to try to get the rally started for the Hornets, not fall too far behind this very good team. With a good pitcher on the mound today, that would be the right-hander Logan Law. Now, don't have complete statistical outlook on Law, but I can tell you he is tied for second in the conference in wins. He's got 4 wins this season. Here's the remarkable statistic, though. Second in the conference in ERA with a 1.0 ERA for Logan Law. He also is 4th in the league in strikeouts. He's got 41 punch-outs so far this season. So he'll have to go against the lineup filled with guys who lead the conference in offensive statistics as we get ready to take a look at Mark Carpenter. Well, this young man leads the conference in batting average, hits, runs, doubles, and home runs. He's 3rd in the conference in RBI. It is up to him to get the rally started for the Henley Hornets. Carpenter ready to settle in. Takes his time in his approach. I think there was a little bit of frustration last Saturday against Junction City. It felt like every time Carpenter came up to bat, they gave him the free pass. And so now hitting at the top of the order, you got to get through him to start the game. Here's the first pitch to Carpenter, dips beneath the zone. They count 1-0. Partly cloudy day here in Klamath Falls, about 70 degrees here at first pitch and falling. Here's the 1-0 getting ready to Carpenter from Law. The delivery is going to miss outside. The count 2-0. Little bit of wind as our vantage point from Rosser Field faces directly east. It's a wonderful day for baseball. Here's the 2-0. That pitch sails high on Law. The count 3-0. And somehow here in the Klamath Basin, it's 70 degrees outside, and it still sort of feels chilly. I don't quite know how that works. I've lived here for 5 years, and it's still strange to me. The 3-0 is ready to come from Law to Carpenter. That one was right down Main Street. Carpenter taken all the way. Still a good hitter's count, or one of the best hitters in the conference in Mark Carpenter. Law gathers the sign from Zauer, the other half of the battery for Hidden Valley. We'll introduce you to the rest of the defensive order as Carpenter calls time. Gillette plays third, Mendez at short, Chambers at second, and Mauricio Mendez plays first, Wiley Mendez at short, Jack Matthew in left, Caden Kunert in center, and Landon Nash in right for the Mustangs. Here's the 3-1 on the way to Carpenter. Swings through the fastball on the outside. The count now full to Carpenter. Outfield shaded well to the left as well. Kunert playing more of what you would think would be lined up with a shortstop, perhaps. Kind of really shaded over to the left, and the left fielder Matthew hugging the line down the third base side. 3-2 on the way to Carpenter. That one is hit in the air, right field, playable in foul territory. No, that one is going to kick fair from the wind, but making a long running catch was Landon Nash. Boy, he ran a long, long way to bring that ball in, and a good play for the first out in the first inning. A wind blows across the outfield from right to left. That certainly helped the right fielder Nash rein that ball in. Regardless, still a great effort for the first out. Here's Connor Shively, left-handed shortstop for Henley. Takes a pitch outside. The count now 1-0. Talking about the weather a moment ago, 70 degrees, still sort of chilly out here. I was setting up the equipment, getting ready for the game and all the great stuff, and I see some of the Hidden Valley fans start walking through as we get ready for the 1-0. Connor Shively, that one misses low as well to count 2-0. And I'm not quite sure who it was that this comment was directed at, but someone said, "You're wearing a T-shirt today. Haven't you ever been here before?" And, well, that just made me chuckle because it's exactly right. Here I am with short sleeves on, and, well, I'm getting a little chilly, even though it's 70 degrees outside. The 2-0 misses low as well. Count now 3-0 to Connor Shively. It always feels at least like it's about 10 degrees warmer in the Rogue Valley every time I go over there. We will go over there on Saturday as well when these teams face off in a doubleheader. The 3-0 finds the outer third about belt high to Shively, and the count now 3-1. Right-hander Logan Law gathers the sign from Zauer, shakes him off once, but now is agreeable for the 3-1. Here it comes. That one, again, same pitch, same spot. Maybe even a better spot, a little bit more outside, but still finding the black. And now the count is full to Connor Shively. Long at-bats that the Hornets are taking against Law. Again, just as I said, against Mark Carpenter, could be beneficial. These long at-bats later on. This time Shively sends it right back where it came from. Line drive at a center field and a one-out single for Shively will bring up Jacoby Tacchini. Nice knock there for Shively. That brings him even for second place on the team in hits with 28. With who else but the man to hit now? That's Jacoby Tacchini. Tacchini, like I said, 28 hits on the season, a batting average of .459. Gets on base 55% of the time. He's getting ready for his first look at Logan Law, now working out of the stretch. Here's a pitch. That one is going to find the zone around the letters. Maybe Tacchini thought it was upstairs, but instead down in the count 0-1. After Tacchini in the Henley order, it is Max Price. Tacchini settles in. Waiting the 0-1 pitch. Law comes set. Move over to first. Diving back safely is Shively. Going back to Henley's doubleheader on Saturday against Junction City, Jacoby Tacchini was really good, especially in the first game that Henley won 8-2. Tacchini drove in 3 RBI in that game as Law gets ready with the 0-1. Another move over to first. Shively back safely. Now, Connor is a guy that you want to worry about a little bit over there at first. Not only does he lead the conference in stolen bases, he is 19 for 19 on the season. No one has caught him yet. Got to be careful. Shively smart on the base paths as Law comes set again with the 0-1. and finally delivers. This time, fastball sails on him a bit, evens the count at 1 to the Henley freshman catcher. Those 3 RBIs that I mentioned for Tacchini back on Saturday helped extend his conference lead in that category, 31 RBI this season. 1-1, and another move over to first. They're worried about Shively over there, like I said, for good reason, especially early in the game. Henley likes to create some havoc on the base paths on occasion. Seen him do it multiple times this year. I think the most poignant example would be against Klamath Union earlier in the season. As the 1-1 finds the zone 1 and 2, it felt like Henley really had their way on the base paths during that season, and it showed in the final scores: 14-1, 19-0, 10-0. It's how Henley is able to manufacture a lot of these runs. Yeah, they can hit the long ball, but this is how you do it. Right now, though, Tacchini down in the count, 1-2. Shively on the move. It's a pitch out. The throw down is high. Shively is safe. Count even now at 2 for Tacchini with Shively at second. It was only a matter of time. Connor Shively, a heist out there at second base for his 20th stolen base of the season. He had a really good read on the pitcher Law there. He waited, about 5 pitches, saw his rhythm, threw over a couple times, but boy, right as he saw the slightest twitch from Law, he was off and running, and you're not going to catch Shively, especially when he has a great jump like that. Here's the 2-2 again to Tacchini. Chases that one out of the zone, but rolls it out towards short. Charging in is Mendez. Throw on to first is in time, and that will be the second out in the inning. Advancing to third on that play was Shively, and that'll bring up Max Price with 2 outs and a runner 90 feet away from scoring. Max Price this season has worked himself back into the order very nicely. Price batting .310 on the season. Has missed about 8 games this year, but has reacclimated himself really well. Here's the pitch to Price. That one skips below the zone, the count 1-0. In that 8-2 win against Junction City back on Saturday, Max Price also had 3 runs batted in, and just a solid overall performance for him that day. Pitch misses low. Count now 2-0. I believe, Max Price got a little pitching work done in the 8-2 win over Junction City back on Saturday, too. Pitched the final inning in relief after Mark Carpenter pitched 6 innings of a gem against the Tigers. Here's the 2-0 to him. That one misses high. The count now 3-0 to Max Price, with Bo Pyle, the designated hitter, waiting on deck. Set is Law, looks over to third at Shively. The 3-0 finds the zone, and now 3-1. Third at-bat this inning where Law will fall behind a guy 3-0 and then has to battle back. Here he got the first strike. We'll see where he goes now on the 3-1 to Price. That one misses wide, skips off the glove of Zauer. Shively thought about breaking for it, but didn't roll far enough away. Instead, Price will take his free pass. Shively stays at third, and in steps Bo Pyle. Pyle this season batting .298 and 14 runs batted in this season. Bo hit the ball well back on Saturday. Unfortunately, though, you look at the stat sheet and you wouldn't probably agree with me. He was 0 for 8 in that doubleheader back on Saturday, but he hit the ball as hard as anybody. It was just right at people. So looking to find a little bit of green today as the Henley designated hitter. Here's the first pitch. That one's popped up out of play, foul, 0-1. Looking over towards the softball field, the Mustangs have also traveled to play Henley today. That is a really interesting series going on over there, too. Much like is the case here, battling for conference supremacy. It's the same thing over there. Henley and Hidden Valley are in a 3-team race for the top of the Skyline Conference, in there with Phoenix on the softball end of things, and really excited to see how that turns out for them. 0-1 on the way to Pyle. That one misses below the zone. Max Price on the move. He's going to swipe second. 2 men in scoring position for Bo Pyle in a 1-1 count. Pyle, like I said, didn't get too many, well, actually didn't get any hits back on Saturday, but he hits the ball hard. He almost has, in fact, he does have as many extra base hits this season as he does singles. 7 doubles and triples and 7 singles this year for Bo Pyle. When he runs into it, it goes a long, long way. Here's the 1-1 curveball. That was a good pitch by Logan Law. Started up around the hands of Pyle, but then broke back across the plate. Pyle looked at it all the way through. Now behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Have to do it again. Law looks in, gets the sign from Zauer, comes set, keeps the glove at his belt, now delivers. Pyle chases an elevated fastball and goes down on strikes. The Hornets get a couple guys in scoring position, but unable to convert. As we go to the top of the second inning, they trail Hidden Valley 1-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Getting ready for the top of the second inning in a 1-0 ball game. Hidden Valley leads the Henley Hornets. This inning brought to you in part by the Pacific Power Foundation, who donated nearly $70,000 in 2024 to organizations like the Bonanza Big Springs Park and Recreation District, Klamath County Rotary Club, and the Rotary Club of Lakeview. Big thanks to Pacific Power for coming on board this season of Henley baseball as Mark Carpenter fires in ball 1. The leadoff hitter in the second inning, it is the pitcher Logan Law. Carpenter ready to go with the 1-0 from the windup once more. The pitch is going to be on the inside of the plate. Law probably wishes he could have that swing back. He chased inside and he wins the count at 1. It's Law, Gillette, and Johnson due up this half for the Mustangs. That's 6, 7, and 8 in their order. Here's the 1-1. That's a curveball hit the other way. In the gap is Price. Up with the ball. Throw on to first is in time. And that is the first out in the second inning. That's now 3 consecutive plays made by Max Price out there at second. He turned 2 in the first inning, followed by a just normal 4-3 put out to end the inning, and there starts out with one there. Now has to go up against Hunter Gillette in the box for Hidden Valley. Mark Carpenter ready to deliver the pitch. Here it comes. That one a high chopper down the third base line. That one is going to kick foul. At least that's where Carpenter fields it. And those high choppers down the line, always a little bit dangerous for the defense, especially when you got a guy who can hustle down the line like Gillette just showed. But now the count 0-1 to the Hidden Valley third baseman. Just continuing to go back and talk about the season that Hidden Valley has had so far. They've been kind of a streaky team this year. They started out by winning, I believe, 8 of their first 9 ball games. That pitch, 7 of their first 8 ball games. Then they lose to Cascade Christian on April 8th. They lost to Henley, but then they ripped off another 3-game winning streak against Klamath Union. It's the count 1-1. This one hit hard center field. Ryan Douglas charging in, and again just drops down in front of him. Another 1-out single for Hidden Valley, and that'll bring up Gunnar Johnson. Hidden Valley doing a good job of just getting a piece of it and putting it right back into center field to start this game. That's now 4 hits they've gotten against Mark Carpenter. But they got those 3 wins against Klamath Union about midway through last month. And they lose 2 to Scappoose and then win 3 against Mazama. So it seems like they've beaten the teams that they are supposed to, you could say, and they've struggled a little bit against teams that, maybe historically have been a little bit better than them. You look at Cascade Christian, a 6-5 loss there. Cascade Christian has historically been a very good 3A program. As a move over to first and back safely is Gillette. It's an 0-1 count to Gunnar Johnson. And then, you've got Scappoose mixed in there as well as the other team that you wind up losing to. Scappoose is a very good team. They're number 4 in the state. As that pitch is fouled off, and they count 0-2. Oh, no, pardon me, 0-1. It was a move over to first. Count still 0-1. So they've taken care of business where they need to, and they've fallen to teams that, on paper you say maybe are better, as Johnson chases strike 3 up and out of the zone. That'll be now 2 outs in the second inning. I think, you could probably say the same for Henley, though. As we look at the teams that they've dropped to, Staten and Newport, you look at where they are right now. Staten, for their part, is number 15 in the state. That's still pretty serviceable. You meet them earlier in the season. Newport is number 5, which is still, right there in front of Henley, who is number 6. You thought maybe their split against Junction City over the weekend would improve their state ranking a bit, but after that split, it pretty much kept Junction City at 2 and Henley down at 6. As the first pitch to Landon Nash misses high, count 1-0. Runner aboard at first is Hunter Gillette. He had a 1-out single that allowed him to reach base. But 2 outs in the top of the second, and Henley trails Hidden Valley 1-0. That pitch misses high and away. Count now 2-0 to Landon Nash. Carpenter set with the 2-0 to Nash, number 9 hitter in the Hidden Valley order. And the pitch, that one right down Main Street, and the count 2-1. Trying to keep things where they are. Again, Hidden Valley scored a run in the top of the first by virtue of back-to-back-to-back singles to start the inning. Here's the 2-1. That one sails way outside, actually wound up in the left-handed batter's box, but Takini, a nice job to rein it in. And the count 3-1 to Nash. Next, the Mustangs order turns over. Caden Kunert waits on deck. Small lead off of first for Gillette. About 4 or 5 steps. Carpenter digging here for the 3-1. Here it comes. That one misses high and a walk. Moves Gillette to second. Gives Nash first. And now Caden Kunert bats with 2 on and 2 out. Kunert today 1 for 1. Actually was the lone run to come around and score in the top of the first inning. Last time these two teams played, that was back on April 11th. Kunert finished 1 for 3. He singled in the first inning but was held hitless the rest of the day as the Mustangs fell in that game 5-2. Decent lead off a second for Gillette, about 8 or 9 paces off the bag. Carpenter ready to deliver the first pitch to Kunert. It's a curveball that's popped up. Looks like it's coming right for the first row here over at Rosser Field, but out of play it goes, and an 0-1 count. Kunert worked a full count in his last at-bat, and that's when he just shot a single straight up into center field. Was able to come around to score based off of a couple of other singles and then scored on a fielder's choice, or a double play, really. It's an 0-1 count to him now. Carpenter set. And the pitch. That one is grounded back up the middle. Carpenter comes up with it, tosses to first, and that will end the inning. The Mustangs get a hit. They leave 2 stranded, but unable to add to their 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Bottom of the second inning, our score is still 1-0. The visiting Hidden Valley Mustangs in front of the Henley Hornets. Like I said, bottom of the second, so it's 6, 7, and 8 in the Henley order due up. That's Derek Cox, Corbin Hamilton, and Carson Pimley. I've talked about Derek quite a bit through these last, this will be his 8th game played with the Hornets this year. He came up from the junior varsity level as an injury replacement. First pitch to him looked at for strike one. But what an impact he's been able to make on this team as Henley has dealt with some injuries in their infield. Derek has come up and played well, batting .400 through 24 at-bats at the varsity level. Here's the 0-1. That one swung through, and count now moves 0-2 to Derek. Behind in the count 0-2 against a quality arm in Logan Law. Let's see. Derek Cox awaits the pitch and watches one miss high. The count 1-2. You watch this young man out on the ball field, and whether he's in the box or standing at third or playing second, he just looks comfortable. And feeling comfortable, especially in a game of baseball, that's half the battle. As he rolls one out towards short, Wiley Mendez up with it. The throw on to first is in time. It was a bit close, but the Mustangs able to make the play for the first out in the second inning. Well, now here's Corbin Hamilton, a guy who has been making an impact the entire season for Henley, batting .302 to start the year. 12 RBI for him. First pitch to Corbin is a curveball that lands in the zone. The count 0-1. Last times these teams played again back on April 11th, Corbin was 0 for 1, but he did get on base twice from working walks. Was unable to come around to score either time, but has been able to get on base this year. He fouls one off, the count 0-2. On deck for Henley is Carson Pimley. Hamilton steps back in the box, behind in the count against Logan Law as he gets ready to deliver the 0-2, the pitch. A curveball sent right back up the middle. Line drive into center field and a 2-strike knock for Corbin Hamilton and a 1-out base runner for Henley. And again, here's Carson Pimley. Well, you look up and down this Henley order, and you say, well, these first about 5 guys in the lineup are just absolutely lethal. But the thing is that it doesn't cool off towards the bottom of the lineup when you start to get to guys like Hamilton and now Pimley and Douglas in the 7, 8, 9 holes. You say, well, maybe Carson Pimley is not as productive as a guy like Mark Carpenter. Okay, that's a tall ask, right? But Carson Pimley is still batting .283 on the season, quietly has 12 runs scored, and that is 4th most on the team. Took the first pitch 1-0. And all that to say, like I said, .283 is still a quality season for the Henley right fielder, but and again, I'm of course the one talking about them, so I'll take the heat for this. Not maybe talked about as much as some of these other guys at the top of the order, but just as good, batting in the 8 hole. He's ahead in the count here, 1-0. The pitch, that one misses outside, the count 2-0. After Pimley, as I stated before, Ryan Douglas up next for Henley. Runner at first is Hamilton, aboard via the single last at-bat. And the 2-0 will have to wait. A move over to first. Hamilton is back safely. Corbin, not a huge threat to steal over there at first. He has 4 stolen bases on the season in 5 attempts. The 2-0. That one's hit in the air behind first base towards the Henley dugout. In play, and Mendez moves over to make the catch for the second out. So this will bring up Ryan Douglas. I said it last game, but I'll say it again. Douglas is a guy who took a little while to come along this season, but ever since he has been very good, has gotten his batting average up to 280 after the first part of the season, struggling to keep it above 200, but has been really good in the last about 5 games. Here he rolls one out to short. Mendez is going to toss it on to second for the final out. So short-lived talking about Douglas. We'll pick him back up in a little bit as we move now to the top of the third inning. Hidden Valley leads Henley 1-0 here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
And getting ready for the top of the third inning from Rosser Field as the sun shines down here in the Klamath Basin. Henley trails Hidden Valley 1-0 in the top of the third inning. Due up is Wiley Mendez, Elijah Zauer, and Jack Matthew. That is 2, 3, and 4 for the Mustangs as they try to add on their 1-0 lead. Last time these two teams played, it took Hidden Valley until the final 7th inning to get on the board. But here they struck first, and they're trying to maintain a lead. Actually, you know, we're going to tell the whole story. It took Henley until the 5th inning to score last time these two teams played, when they scored 4 runs, added another in the 6th, would go on to win 5-2. But don't expect a high-scoring one today. Both pitchers throwing well so far as Carpenter loops in a breaking ball, called a strike to Mendez. The count 0-1. Mendez singled back in the first inning and wound up at third before being left stranded. Here's the 0-1 to him. That one hit back up the middle, skips off the mound over to short. Shively throw on to first, picked out of the dirt by Hamilton. And everything that could go right did go right that time for Henley. Line drive up the middle, kicks off the mound directly to Shively, and Hamilton with a great pick out of the dirt for the out, and that will bring up Elijah Zauer. A lot of good baseball being played in the Klamath Basin this year. We found out some news for the Oregon Tech Hustlin' Owls. Congratulations to Ricky Walker and his team for making the first ever NAIA National Tournament for the Oregon Tech Hustlin' Owls. It's the first pitch coming into Zauer. A curveball hit the other way into right field. And a one-out single for Elijah Zauer. He's now 2 for 2 with a couple of singles on the afternoon. With one out, he gets on. Gonna have a new runner come in for Zauer. Looks like it's going to be Cruz Leavitt. He's out there aboard for Mendez. Stepping in now is Jack Matthew. Talking about Oregon Tech, they are one of 15 at-large teams to make the 46-team NAIA National Tournament. Tech finished with their best record in program history this past season. First pitch to Matthew fouled off. They count 0-1. It's been a consistent improvement year over year for Tech. 38 wins, tops their high of last year, 36, which was in its own right a record-breaking year for the Tech baseball squad. They'll go to a familiar place. They'll go to Lewiston, Idaho for the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament. Here's the 0-1 to Matthew. A curveball checks his swing down in the count 0-2. And they're going to Lewiston, but LC State isn't actually the host of their 5-team bracket. It's actually Hope International is the number 1 seed. LC State isn't even the 2 seed. They're the 3 seed at their own ball field. Here's the 0-2. That one hit in the air, center field. Looks playable for Douglas. Gets underneath it and makes the catch for the second out. In steps Mauricio Mendez. Mendez 0 for 1 with a ground out back in the first inning. He bats here with 2 outs and a runner aboard at first. And that is Cruz Leavitt, the senior, in courtesy running for the catcher Elijah Zauer, who earned the single and the trip to first. Waiting on deck for Hidden Valley is Logan Law. The first pitch on its way to Mendez. Here it is. That one misses low. The count now 1-0. Oregon Tech is the 4 seed in their bracket. They will open up the NAIA National Tournament on May 12th at 11 a.m. against Dickinson State, the 5 seed in the quadrant, or I suppose the bracket, not necessarily a quadrant. The 1-0 coming up to Mendez. Carpenter is set and delivers. That pitch misses high, and now it is 2-0. Well-deserved trip to the NAIA National Tournament for the Oregon Tech baseball team. Like I said, they have the best record in program history. They had the Player of the Year in the conference in Tyler Horner, and the Co-Pitcher of the Year, Tim Williams, split that award with a couple other guys in the conference. But you have those two, you finish with the best record in program history, you better darn make the national tournament. It felt like they probably should have made it last year, but they were one of the first teams left out. This season, they have earned a berth and hoping to make some noise in the national tournament. It's a 2-0 count to Mauricio Mendez here at Henley. The 2-0 hit in the air center field. Douglas having to come in, but he makes the catch, and that will end the inning. A base hit for Hidden Valley, but they leave them stranded. They do hold the lead. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, it's 1-0 Mustangs. Coming up next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Bottom of the third inning, getting ready to see Mark Carpenter, then Connor Shively, then Jacoby Tacchini, as Henley trails Hidden Valley 1-0 in this Skyline Conference game. Like I said, this is game 2 of the season series and game 1 of a 3-game series this week. We play 1 game today, and then we play a doubleheader at Hidden Valley on Saturday. Of course, for those Hornets fans listening who may not want to make the trip to Murphy, I understand, but we will be live from Hidden Valley High School, ready to bring you another great game of Henley baseball. But before we get there, got to finish this one up, and it's shaping up to be a good one so far, too. Close affair, 1-0, bottom of the third. Henley trails, but they got the top of the order due up as Mark Carpenter settles in. Logan Law still on the mound for Hidden Valley. He's pitched well, only 2 hits through the first 2 innings allowed. First pitch to Carpenter, looked like the bender, finds the outside part of the zone. 0-1 the count to Mark. He's 0 for 1 today. He flew out to right field in the first inning. Hit the ball well to right field, but the wind worked against him and allowed the right fielder Nash to make a catch. The 0-1 to Mark. Checks his swing in time, and the count now 1-1. Carpenter with an OPS of 13.58. Just remarkable this year for him. The 1-1. Chases it out of the zone, fouls it off. The count 1-2. Been at the top of the order this year, has scored a ton of runs. I did the math earlier this season. These top 3 guys in the order, don't know specifically about Carpenter, but we'll talk about these top 3 guys, Mark, Connor, and Jacoby. Those guys have accounted for 41% of all of Henley's offense this year, just in terms of runs scored. Not even runs batted in, but just them touching home has been 41% of all of the runs Henley has scored this year. As Carpenter takes a pitch low in the dirt, 2-2. Big gap on the right side of the infield as the outfield also shaded a little bit to the left, anticipating Carpenter to be a pull hitter. Here's the 2-2. That misses low. The count now full to Mark. 3-2. Saw this a little bit in the last at-bat, but Carpenter did take the pitch the other way and flew out to right field. He can hit it the other way. I'd say that's one of the few things you'd say he added to his game this past year. There wasn't much to add, to be frank. He's the reigning 4A player of the year, but he's been hitting the ball the opposite way pretty well, especially these last couple of games. Here in a full count. Checks his swing on a breaking pitch and will get first. And so that will bring up Connor Shively after the walk to start the third. Shively with a single in his first at-bat, 1 for 1 today, batting .435 on the season. His 24 singles are the most on the team. Not a guy who gets a ton of extra base hits, but he puts the ball in play and he gets on base. That's what you can say for sure. Third best batting average, 4th best on base percentage on the team at right around 50%. First pitch, showing bunt, lays one down the third base line, but it kicks foul. And Shively, coming out of that left-handed batter's box, he can be a blur heading down the first base line. So would have been a really well-placed bunt had it stayed fair. Probably would have been safe everywhere. But instead, Shively behind the count 0-1 and has to scamper on back to the left-handed batter's box. Jacoby Tacchini waits on deck for the Hornets. Law comes set. Move over to first, and Mendez had to dig that one out of the dirt to keep it in front of him, but back safely is Carpenter. Law looks in, gets the sign from Zauer. Now set. Here's the pitch. Showing bunt is Shively. Gets it down in front of the pitcher. He's looking to go 2 and does. That's all the Mustangs will get is the lead runner Carpenter. Shively is safe at first on the fielder's choice. 1 away in the inning, and here's Jacoby Tacchini. Tacchini hit a ground ball to short in his first at-bat back in the first inning, so 0 for 1 today. Batting .459 on the year. Second on the team in on-base percentage, only 5 points behind Mark Carpenter, who was just made an out at second. As the first pitch to Tacchini, missed inside, 1-0. Max Price waits on deck for the Hornets. Another move over to first, diving back safely is Shively. Remember last time around the base paths, Shively secured his 20th stolen base of the season. He is 20 for 20 on stolen base attempts, so that's probably not the last time that we'll see Law take a look over at Shively at first. But here he comes set with the 1-0 and delivers. Tacchini chases a high fastball. The count is even, 1-1. Like I said, Takini in that series against Junction City back on Saturday. The first game, an 8-2 win, knocked in 3 RBI. Was still good in the second game, 2 for 4 with 2 RBI in that game. A couple of singles for him, boosting those numbers. Here's the 1-1. Line drive to left center field. That's going to get down. Shively takes a big turnaround second. He's headed for third as the ball is bobbled in center field. Shively to third off the single from Takini. Runners at the corners for Max Price. Just a well-hit ball to left center. The center fielder, Kunert, couldn't quite come up with it on the first hop. He knocked it down, but had to reach down for it, and that's enough for a guy like Shively to take an extra 90 feet, and he did. And now, runners at the corners, 1 out, and a speedy guy at the plate in Max Price. Let's see if the Hornets have anything on here. Elijah Zauer thinks they might, and so he comes out and gives directions to the infield as the corners come in for Hidden Valley. Middle infield, a double play depth. Ball hit to the corners. They'll probably come home with it. Otherwise, they're going to try to turn 2. Here's the pitch. That one's fouled straight back. Count 0-1. Bo Pyle waits on deck for the Hornets. Price a wide batting stance. His front foot is sort of behind his back foot from my point of view here at home plate, and he sort of faces the pitcher, but he's got quick hands through the zone. He keeps them really low, even below the letters on his jersey. Allows him to just try to rip through the zone quickly, put a ball in play, and then he relies on his legs to get the job done after that. Even in the count now, a ball and a strike to Max Price. Law agrees on the pitch, checks the runner at first twice. It's Porter Frost. Here's the pitch. That one is fouled off. The count 1-2. Frost, of course, coming in to run for Takini, who reached on a single earlier this inning. Porter's done a fine job in his limited role this season, but everyone has their job on a good team like this. And if your job is to courtesy run for a guy who gets on base half of it all the times he's up to bat, you'll take that, and he's done a good job this year. 1-1 on its way from Law. Kicks. Fires. Curveball in the dirt. Gets away from Zauer. Breaking for the plate is Shively. He scores. Tied at 1. Also advancing to second is Porter Frost. Heads up base running for the Hornets. Scores him a run here in the bottom of the third. All knotted up. 1 apiece. Still an RBI opportunity for Max Price. Like I said, Frost advancing to second on the play, and he's got a pretty considerable lead off the second base bag. Second baseman Chambers trying to hold him there, but the 2-2 delivered home is a curveball that misses high. The count now 3-2. Again, Pyle waits on deck for Henley. Price this season batting .310. He's got 7 RBI this season. 3 of them came against Junction City back on Saturday. Here's the pitch. That one misses wide. On base is Max Price. Here's Bo Pyle after the walk. Inning started with a walk issued to Mark Carpenter, and although he was out on the base path, Shively reached on a fielder's choice. Takini followed it up with a single. Now Max aboard after the walk, puts runners at first and second for the Henley designated hitter Bo Pyle. 0 for 1 today. Bo struck out in the first inning. But the .298 hitter looking to add to his RBI total here with 1 out. Bottom of the third inning, tied at 1. First pitch to Pyle, a breaking ball, thought was going to be inside, broke back across the plate for strike 1. Coach Sean Teeters in the third base coaching box, giving his orders to the base runners and, of course, to the hitter Pyle. I'm sure, as I had talked about in the last half inning, Coach Teeters probably thrilled that the Oregon Tech baseball team made the national tournament, as was announced earlier today. Of course, Coach Teeters played a little bit up at Oregon Tech and, of course, coached at Lost River before making a stop here at Henley. Lost River, by the way, their baseball team is having a heck of a season, too. Talk about them maybe a little bit later on as the 1-1 on its way to Bo Pyle. He pops it up foul. Count now, a ball and 2 strikes. Realized haven't talked about the dimensions here at Rosser Field yet. Give you an idea. 325 down the right field line, 350 to left and right center, 385 to straightaway center, and 331 down the left field side. Here's the 1-2 to Pyle. That one sails on the pitcher Law, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. After Pyle in the Henley order, it's Derek Cox. Law is set. Small lead off a second for Frost. And the 2-2. Curveball misses high, and the count is now full. They've tried to throw that high breaking ball to Pyle a few times now. He hasn't offered up at it once. We'll see where they go in a full count here. Pyle likely going to be sitting on fastball. We'll see. Law comes set. Zauer sets up for the pitch. Here it comes. 3-2, swung on and missed, and Pyle down on strikes for the second out in the third inning. Now we'll bring up Derek Cox. Cox 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to short to start the second inning. All of his base hits this season have been singles, as he gets ready to face Law with a couple of runners on in a tie ball game. Here's the first pitch to Cox. Roll down the third base line. It's fair. They're going to wave Frost around to score. He's going to come in. They're going to hold Price at third, and an RBI double for Derek Cox gives Henley a 2-1 lead. And that'll bring up Corbin Hamilton. 1 for 1 today is Corbin. Had a single back in the second inning. Now bats his team in front. 2 more runners in scoring position. First pitch to Hamilton misses upstairs to count 1-0. Price is at third. Cox is at second after the RBI double put his team in front 2-1 here in the bottom of the third inning. The 1-0 on its way to Hamilton, looked at for a strike, down in around the knees on the outside part of the plate to the right-handed hitting Corbin Hamilton. Singleton was left stranded in the second inning. The 1-1 on its way to Corbin. Here it is. This one offered up at and missed. Might have been an off-speed pitch that time from Law. The throw to get back to the pitcher. Law didn't quite squeeze it, or I'm not sure what, but it rolled away from him. Lucky for the Mustangs, the runners stay right where they are with Price at third and Cox at second. A huge lead off of second for Derek out there. He takes a couple of steps back, but with nowhere to go in front of him, no one really holding him there, I guess why not get halfway down the line if you can. Here's the 1-2, and that one is popped foul. Count will remain 1 and 2 strikes. Big at-bat here could change the complexion of this game for Logan Law. Trying to get out of this inning, keep your team only down a run, but a single here, a base hit of any kind, probably scores 2 more. The pitch to Hamilton. That one misses low, and the count is now 2-2. I think Hamilton thought it was strike 3, but he's back in the zone now, back in the box rather, ready for a 2-2. You think that bat's over. Now you got to focus back up for Corbin. We'll see his approach here in a 2-2 count. That pitch in the dirt, no doubt, skips away from the catcher. Price will score on the wild pitch, and that will allow Cox to move to third. Henley now up 3-1. And the count is full to Corbin Hamilton. After Corbin in the order, it's Carson Pimley. Law is set. 3-2. Bouncer back up the middle. That'll get into center field. No, a sliding catch. Cooner Saves a run for Hidden Valley. A great play in center field to end the inning. But Hidden Valley does score 3 times. Off 2 base hits, they leave a runner stranded, and they've claimed the lead as we go to the top of the 4th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting ready for the top of the 4th inning in this Skyline Conference affair between the Mustangs and the Hornets, and Henley leads 3-1. So far for Henley, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and the Hornets have left 4 runners on base. For Hidden Valley, they've got 1 run on 5 hits, no errors. They have also left 4 runners on base. As we get ready for this half inning, it's Logan Law, Hunter Gillette, and Gunnar Johnson due up for Hidden Valley against Mark Carpenter, as Carpenter misses with a curveball high, the count 1-0. 6, 7, and 8 in the Mustangs order, due up here in the 4th. They'll try to reclaim the lead that they gave away in the bottom half of the 3rd. Henley scored 3 in that half to claim this 3-1 lead. Law chases a breaking ball outside of the zone, evens the count at a ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. And he chases that pitch as well, 1-2. Would love to try to get the rally started for his team here and try to return the favor to Carpenter, who got the rally started for his team in the last half inning. The 1-2. That one misses low in the dirt, 2-2. The count to Logan Law. Carpenter set. Takini sets up for the 2-2. Here it comes. That one, another curveball. Same location. They've tried to get Law to chase a few times now, and that curveball dipping away from the right-handed hitter. But now the count's full. Carpenter's going to have to come after Logan Law here. Here comes the full count pitch. Popped out of play, foul towards the Henley soccer field. Was made official not too long ago. Former Henley boys soccer coach Lupe Gonzalez, offer congratulations to him too. Took the head soccer job at Klamath Community College for their first season in the NWAC coming up, and I believe they start in the fall. Here's the 3-2. That one misses high. Law is aboard on a walk to start the 4th inning. Well, last half inning, as we get ready to, first we'll introduce the hitter, Hunter Gillette, who's 1 for 1 today. As a pinch runner comes in, or the courtesy runner rather, it's Lawson O'Leary in to run for the pitcher Law. We were talking about the Oregon Tech baseball team last inning and the fact that they made their first ever NAIA National Tournament berth this season. Well, the NAIA National Tournament is no strangers to the Oregon Tech softball team, who once again get to host the opening round up at Stillwell Stadium this year. As the first pitch on its way to Hunter Gillette, shows bunt, has to get out of the way of the pitch, but it got by Takini in the meantime, allowing the runner Lawson to move up to second. Kind of a tough play for Takini to make, with the batter showing bunt and an inside pitch. Just kind of hard to grab. It looks like kind of the batter is blocking the sight line there for the catcher. So in the meantime, Lawson was able to advance to second. The count now 1-0 to Gillette. Wonder if the bunt is still on for the Hidden Valley third baseman. It certainly looks like Gillette is getting ready to show bunt here. Nope, he's going to get ready to swing away. The curveball offered up at and missed. The count 1-1 to Hunter Gillette. The Oregon Tech Lady Owls, of course, like I said, hosting the NAIA National Tournament this year. And the 5-team bracket at Stillwell Stadium has been announced. Jamestown, North Dakota, Arizona Christian, Southeastern from Florida, and Midland from Nebraska will all be here in the Klamath Basin. It's a 1-2 count now after a swinging strike to Hunter Gillette. Gets Carpenter in front of this at-bat. And after just hosting the Cascade Conference Tournament this past weekend, Tech gets to turn around and host the Nationals. Always a great time up at Stillwell Stadium. It's the 1-2 on its way to Gillette. That one is a two-seamer that misses high and tight to the right-hander. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Couple of these, some familiar foes for Oregon Tech. I look at ACU from the Great Southwest Athletic Conference. They won the conference title, and they are, of course, familiar to Oregon Tech. Their basketball teams came to our Lithia Classic earlier in the year. Their men's team eliminated Oregon Tech's men's team from the playoffs this past year. The 2-2 delivered to Gillette. He swings through it, strike 3, and that'll be the first out in the first inning, or the fourth inning, rather. Top of the fourth inning, and Henley leads 3-1 over Hidden Valley as Gunnar Johnson gets ready to step in now, a tall designated hitter. Don't have a listed height for this young man, but certainly looks tall out of that right-handed batter's box. Before he gets a chance to hit, though, we'll have a meeting with Coach Craig Connor coming out of the dugout to talk with Mark Carpenter. So a good time for us to remind you that today's broadcast on mybasin.com is brought to you in part by God's Gifts Photography. If you're a parent of a high school athlete tired of trying to take good photos and keep up with the action, there is a solution here in the Klamath Basin, and that's God Gifts Photography. They attend high school sporting events in the basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. You can search them up on Facebook at God's Gifts 2, or that's also their website as well. You search up God's Gifts, and you'll be brought right to their page. Have taken some great pictures. If you see high-quality photos done on mybasin.com, it was probably God's Gifts who took those photos for us. So, again, big thanks to Annalisa Casson over there for making sure we've got some great photos and making sure that the parents around the basin have some great photos of their kids. Again, hit them up on Facebook at God's Gifts 2, the number 2. Gunnar Johnson getting ready to step in after a meeting between the infield and Coach Craig Connor. Here's the first pitch to Johnson. Swung on and missed. Carpenter came after him with the heater. You hear the pop of the glove from Takini. The count 0-1. Maybe that's what Coach Connor wanted. Say, Carpenter, go back to the heater. It's what's working. And that certainly did that time. We'll see where he goes now in the 0-1 to Johnson. Pitch on its way. That one is hit foul behind first. Heads up, softball fans. There we go. Count now 0-2. Runner aboard at second is Lawson. He's there courtesy running for the pitcher, Logan Law, who got there via the walk earlier this inning. One away, top of the fourth, and Henley leads Hidden Valley 3-1. Carpenter set with the 0-2. Here it comes. And a check swing on a high fastball held up in time. The count now a ball and 2 strikes to Johnson with Landon Nash waiting on deck. Going back to the NAIA National Tournament for Oregon Tech, like I said, also Jamestown, Southeastern from Florida. I believe Southeastern, if I'm not mistaken, also a familiar foe for Oregon Tech athletic programs in recent history. I'll tell you about that after the 1-2 to Johnson. He has to duck out of the way of that pitch. Now it's 2-2. If I'm not mistaken, it was a couple of years ago that Oregon Tech met Southeastern in the opening round of the NAIA basketball tournament and dispatched Southeastern in that opening round, only to be eliminated themselves by Orange City, Iowa. That pitch is looked at, strike 3. Johnson down on strikes. Second out here in the fourth inning, and that will bring up Landon Nash. Nash is without an official at-bat today. He walked back in the second inning and was left stranded on base in that inning. Bats from the left side with a runner in scoring position. It's Lawson. Set is Carpenter, and the first delivery is a curveball, found the outer third against Nash. A good pitch and a good spot for Carpenter to get ahead of the Hidden Valley right fielder. Shortstop Shively trying to keep the runner out there honest as Carpenter comes set with the 0-1. That pitch misses high, the count 1-1. Going back to Tech, the NAIA National Tournament is going to be beginning on May 12th at 11 a.m. First game is between Jamestown and Arizona Christian. As Carpenter gets ready for the 1-1. To Landon Nash, offered up at and missed. Now in a rundown out there at second, but safe is Lawson. Almost got caught napping at second base. But now a 1-2 count to Landon Nash. And again, final note I'll make about the NAIA National Tournament. The reason I give you all the details starting at 11 a.m. on Monday is because on this station, on 104.3 and 960 Sports, we will be broadcasting every game of the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament. I'll be out there at Stillwell Stadium bringing you all the coverage all day long. It's the 1-2 on its way. A curveball hit hard into right field, but curving foul. And the count will remain a ball and 2 strikes. So if you're cruising around town and you want to find out what's going on at the NAIA National Tournament, just tune on in. And, you'll be hearing myself and, on occasion, Mike Safford will be on the call as well for the NAIA National Tournament coming up next week starting on Monday at Oregon Tech. 1-2 still the count to Landon Nash. Carpenter delivers. Fastball on the inside, got him swinging. 3 straight strikeouts after the walk to start the inning keeps us right where we are in a 3-1 ball game. Bottom of the 4th next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
And we're getting ready for the bottom of the 4th inning here at Henley High School. Rosser Field, the side of this Skyline Conference contest between the Hornets and the Mustangs. And Henley leads 3-1 over Hidden Valley. Leading off this half is Carson Pimley, followed by Ryan Douglas and then Mark Carpenter. Pimley steps in. Law still on the mound for Hidden Valley. First pitch misses high. The count 1-0. Pimley 0 for 1 today. He popped out to first base in foul territory in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. The 1-0. That one's hit in the air, shallow right field. The right fielder Nash moving over, and he will make the catch for the first out. Pardon me, that brings up Ryan Douglas. Douglas today is 0 for 1, grounded out to shortstop in his last at-bat. That was back in the 2nd inning as well. And I was trying to give Douglas some credit in his last at-bat, although he didn't give me very much time to talk about him, as he takes strike 1 here on the outside. Douglas is a guy who, when the league season started, in the very first game against Klamath Union, he was hitting 174. He improved it up to 192 against Hidden Valley, against Mazama, and then dipped back below 172 against Hidden Valley back on April 11th. But since then, he has been on a tear. He was 3 for 3 on April 28th. He was 2 for 3 back on May 3rd. Here, though, he goes down on strikes as the second out in the 4th inning. A guy who's been up and down this season and has been playing well as of late. Unfortunately, an 0-for-2 start here in this game, bottom of the fourth inning, back to the top of the order for Henley. It is Mark Carpenter. Now, Carpenter 0-for-1 today. He popped out to right field. Well, it wasn't a pop out, really. It was a hard hit ball that the right fielder ran a long, long way to bring in. Past that, he walked back in the third inning and was out on a fielder's choice on the base paths. Here he takes strike one on the outer third. Now awaiting the 0-1. Here's the pitch. Carpenter takes that one, misses in the dirt. The count 1-1 as the sun starts to shine a little bit here on Rosser Field. Peeking through the clouds. Temperature's supposed to keep climbing over the next few days here in the Klamath Basin. Supposed to be up to 80 degrees by Friday. I believe when we go over the hill to Hidden Valley, it's going to be right around 75, 77, somewhere in there for our doubleheader in the Rogue Valley. Like I said, we'll have coverage of that game for you right here on mybasin.com or on 104.3 and 960 Sports, wherever you find us, wherever you follow Henley baseball this year. Appreciate you wherever you might be. Carpenter chases the 1-1 out of the zone, and now behind at the count of ball and 2 strikes. Logan Law ready for the delivery. That one misses high. 2-2 to Carpenter. After Carpenter, it's Connor Shively in the on-deck circle for the Hornets. Trying to get a 2-out rally started. Henley scored 3 runs in the bottom of the third, but 2 quick outs here in the fourth. Law is trying to keep things where they are. Here's the 2-2. That one skips to the dirt as well. Now the count's full. Carpenter has seen a lot of pitches today. Every at-bat has gone to a full count now for Mark. Law ready to deliver the full count pitch. That one wrapped down the third baseline, foul. And so we'll do it again with a count full, 3-2. One other game going on in the Skyline Conference today. That is Mazama taking on Klamath Union. Right now the Pelicans lead the Vikings 8-1. Keep you updated on that score. Implications in the Skyline Conference. Carpenter in a full count with 2 outs, bottom of the fourth inning, his team up 3-1. Here's the pitch. That one is also fouled back into the netting, so the count remains full, 3-2. Again, the infield shifts a little bit for Carpenter. The second baseman Chambers playing pretty much on top of second base. The shortstop Mendez playing in the gap, and the third baseman Gillette hugging the line down the side. Here's the 3-2 once more. That one nearly hit Carpenter, and he will get first on the walk, and that brings up Connor Shively. And we're going to see Coach Spinner come on out of the dugout here, and we'll see, is it time to make a move here in the bottom of the fourth inning? Is pitch count a concern for Logan Law? That was the 80th pitch he threw there to Mark Carpenter, so maybe just some simple housekeeping when you get to 80 pitches out there for the young man from Hidden Valley. Gives us a fine time to remind you that today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Howard's Meat Center, where tradition meets innovation with every cut and every bite of Smokin' H barbecue. As you step through those doors, you're not just entering a meat center, you're stepping back in time where the quality of meat and the depth of customer service were everything. You can check out Howard's Meat Center next to Les Schwab Tires on South 6th Street. I believe the Smokin' H barbecue is also parked up at the Tap House up by Oregon Tech. Haven't had the Smokin' H myself yet, but everything else I've had from Howard's over the years that I've lived here has been second to none. Glad to see them have finally come on board to support Henley Athletics this season on mybasin.com. As Coach Spinner having to be ushered out by the home plate umpire as to break up the conference out there. And Connor Shively getting ready to bat now for Henley. Taking a look at Shively this game, he singled back in the first, reached on a fielder's choice, and came around to score in the third inning, which Henley scored all of their runs to this point. Law trying to escape and leave the runner Carpenter on first. Carpenter on the move, throw down to second, and he is out. Carpenter gunned down, trying to swipe second. disagreeing with the call. We'll see if Coach Teeters makes his way out to talk to the base umpire. No, this one is going to stand, no doubt about it. Carpenter caught stealing to end the fourth inning. We go to the top of the fifth next with Henley in a 3-1 lead on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Josh Eldridge back with you at the top of the fifth inning here at Rosser Field. It is the Henley Hornets who lead the Hidden Valley Mustangs 3-1. Due up this half for Hidden Valley's the top of their order. Caden Kunert, Wiley Mendez, and Elijah Zauer against Mark Carpenter, who since the first inning, a little bit of trouble with 3 straight knocks to start that inning. But since then, he has been impeccable. No runs allowed, a couple of walks, couple of singles, but he's spread them out enough to not allow Hidden Valley to get a rally started and try to get themselves back into this game. Again, Hidden Valley scored 1 run in the first. They've been held to zeros since. Henley scored all of their runs in the bottom of the third inning. Carpenter looking to keep it right where it is right now. So here's Caden Kunert, 1 for 2 today. He singled and scored in that first inning that I've been talking about. He also grounded out in the second inning. Bats here to lead off the top of the fifth. First one is a breaking ball that finds the zone, the count 0-1. Carpenter ready to deliver the 0-1. Two-seam fastball misses wide, the count 1-1. Here at Rosser Field today, and I've said it before, and I often listen to opposing fans as they come into the ballpark. The 1-1, a curveball fouled off, now 1-2. But the Hidden Valley fans and often the visiting fans overall always have nice things to say about our facility here at Henley High School and Rosser Field. I think you could make a case that it's the best patch of grass, the 4A classification in the state of Oregon. Natural grass, I think you could put up any ballpark against it. And it might just beat him as the 1-2 misses. Must have been low. It was over the outside part of the plate, but down around the knees of Kunert evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was actually a Hidden Valley fan talking to Coach Pete Whistler, and Whistler said, don't give me any credit. That's all Marvin, and it is. It's the 2-2. That one sails high, the count 3-2. Marvin Rosser, of course, the namesake here at Henley Baseball Complex, and just does a beautiful, beautiful job with our playing surface here. I mean, not a single blade of grass out of place. The 3-2 hit hard to left field. The left fielder Barrett giving chase, but that's over his head. Rounding first and headed for second is Kunert. He will get in standing, and a leadoff double for the Mustangs center fielder. They try to get back into this one. Down a couple of runs, but if there's any way to get started, well, the Mustangs just found it. Something from the Henley dugout, not sure entirely. Our home plate umpire telling them to knock it off. Not sure what was said, but not sure if that's an official warning either to the Henley dugout. Regardless of the situation, here's Wiley Mendez batting with nobody out and a runner in scoring position. Carpenter set with the pitch. Here it is. That one hit on the ground towards third. Cox up with it, throws across the diamond in time, and staying put at second is Caden Kunert. So now 1 away, runner still at second base, and here's Elijah Zauer. Zauer is 2 for 2 today. couple of singles in the first and third innings. And as I'm sitting here getting ready for the game a little bit earlier today, I met Zauer's granddad sitting over here to the left of me here at Rosser Field. He was telling me that Elijah is committed to play football at Shasta Community College. So congratulations to him playing up at the next level. First pitch to Zauer. That one is taken for a strike on the outer third, 0-1. Said that Elijah might like to play baseball at the next level too, but, I mean, hey, with how competitive sports the next level are, you'll take anything you can get. As Zauer awaits the 0-1, Takini delivers the signs to Carpenter. Carpenter shakes him off a couple times, but now is agreeable. And the 0-1. Pitch misses outside, the count 1-1. I was saying that you go play at these community college, you know, it's always made sense for athletes from our communities, you know, Klamath Falls and Grants Pass and really all of Southern Oregon to go play at the community college level. It's always made sense, especially with the great programs we have in Oregon and in Northern California. But now more than ever does it make sense when you factor in the eligibility rules that have changed. As the 1-1 taken right back up the middle into center field, they're going to wave Kunert around to score. No, he takes a big turn and Coach Spinner slams the brakes on him. And so waiting at third to score will be Caden Kunert. It puts runners at the corners for Jack Matthew. And a runner coming in for Zauer. Looks like it will be Leavitt again. But with those eligibility rules, like I was saying, that have changed, guys can, if you haven't heard, it's quite unique. If you play at the JUCO or even the NAIA level for a couple of seasons, you get an extra year, or all of your years really, of eligibility at the NCAA level. Even this past year, all athletes that played at junior colleges or in the NAIA level, even if they had used up all of their eligibility, they got a blanket waiver extra season. And so here in our community, here in Klamath Falls, we saw a couple of Tech basketball players. The one that comes to my mind, of course, right off the top is Jamison Guerra has moved on to play at the NCAA Division I level, and I'm sure over the next years likely to see more of that. As Jack Matthew fouls off the first pitch to him, the count is 0-1. And the 0-1 to Matthew is knocked down by Takini in the dirt. Neither runner is on the move. And so now the count is 1-1 with Leavitt at first and Kunert at third. Tying run on base for the Mustangs in the top of the fifth inning, a game in which they trail Henley 3-1. One away in the inning. And Carpenter comes set with the 1-1. Move over to first. Diving back safely is Leavitt. Middle infield at double play depth. It was Jack Matthew who grounded into a 4-3 double play in the first inning. I'm sure Carpenter would like to draw one of those up again right now. The 1-1. Curveball hit to third by the third baseman Cox into left field. That will score a run. And now an RBI single for Matthew makes it 3-2. Henley still in the lead. Advancing to second was Leavitt. Aboard at first with the RBI is Matthew. And in steps Mauricio Mendez. Mendez is 0 for 2 today. He has grounded out and flown out in 2 at-bats so far. Mauricio Mendez, like I said earlier, a multi-sport athlete. Here a slow roller out to Carpenter. Goes to second for one. Shively to turn two. He got him. A 1-6-3 double play to hang on to a lead as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Henley in front 3-2 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Bottom of the fifth inning, and Henley maintains a lead. They're up 3-2 against the Hidden Valley Mustangs. Due up this half for the Hornets is Connor Shively, followed by Jacoby Tacchini, and then Max Price for the Hornets in the bottom of the fifth. Logan Law still out there for the Mustangs. He's thrown well to this point and was actually... Well, no, pardon me. Is a run scored for Hidden Valley in the top half of this inning was led off by a double from Caden Kunert. A couple of later inning singles knocked him around, but Carpenter, for his part, the pitcher, was able to induce a 1-6-3 double play to get out of that inning and maintain a lead. And now, for Connor Shively and company, it's time to get the rally started. Shively is 1 for 2 today as he steps into the left-handed batter's box. He singled in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third, and came around to score. Here's the pitch. First pitch, Shively did not go around, it seems, as the count is now 1-0. Checked his swing in time. Thought about chasing that one, but would have needed a golf club to hit it. Now he waits the 1-0. That one is lifted into the air, shallow left center field. Center fielder Kunert moves over. He will make the catch for the first out. Jacoby Tacchini batting now for the Hornets. He is 1 for 2 today. He grounded out in the first inning, but reached on a single in the third inning, and Porter Frost came around to score, who's, of course, Tacchini's courtesy runner. First pitch to Jacoby. He checks his swing, and the count 1-0. Pitch low, out the shoelaces for Jacoby. Batting .459 this season. Just an absolutely torrid start to the year. Curveball misses outside. The count now 2-0. It's either outside or, and maybe it was low. That pitch didn't look very outside to me. It must have been low to Tacchini. Regardless, the count 2-0. Law trying to find the zone here. The pitch. That one finds the outer third on a fastball. The count now 2-1 to Tacchini. And just the statistical output for Jacoby has just been remarkable. You know, I ran off the stats earlier in the game, but I'll do it again. Second in the conference in batting average at .446. Second in the conference in hits with now 28 on the season. He is fifth in the conference in doubles with 5, and he leads the conference in RBI with 31 now after a couple of games. The numbers I'm looking at a little bit out of date, but just, I mean, a remarkable freshman campaign for this man. You don't often see freshmen get selected as all-state recipients, but I got to say, the only reason I could see Tacchini being left off an all-state selection would be the fact that he's a freshman, and that's it. Here's the 3-2 to him. That one is called a ball. Misses high on a big curveball. 50-50 pitch goes the way of Tacchini, and so he is aboard on first with a walk. That brings up Max Price. Porter Frost, as I had mentioned before, comes on out to run for Tacchini. This is Coach Spinner for Hidden Valley coming back out of the dugout. This could be the time he makes the move for a new pitcher. Let's see. Try to take a look in at the pitch count for Mr. Logan Law out there. So he just served up his 90th pitch, which means he has 20 more for the rest of the day. The limit is 110. And if you start an at-bat and you reach 110, you can finish that at-bat, but you can't go any further. So do you ride the hand that you dance with the one that brung you, I suppose, if you're Coach Spinner? Logan Law has pitched well against a deadly Henley lineup, and we've seen multiple times this year where coaches will come in and they'll make a pitching change around this point in the game, and Henley just is able to run away with it against the hint of a pitcher that isn't maybe as good as Logan Law. I mean, this pitched really well. They're going to keep him in the game, and I got to say, for Coach Spinner's part, I got to agree with this decision. Even though Henley is getting these long at-bats, and they are getting on base quite a bit, I think, like I said, dance with the one that brung you here. And so in a 3-2 ball game, bottom of the fifth inning, runner at first is Porter Frost. Here is the first pitch to Max Price. That one will miss low in the dirt to Max, and the count now 1-0. So far for Price, without an official at-bat, he's actually walked both times he's come up to bat so far. In the first, he was left stranded at second, but in the third inning, he did come around to score. It was the final run to come around to score in that 3-run third inning. Here's the pitch to Price. That one came in and hit him on the hand, and he will be awarded first. Porter Frost advances to second, and that'll bring up Bo Pyle. What an opportunity here for Bo. Is 0 for 2 today with a couple of strikeouts. And we've got the, let's see, had a home plate umpire go out and talk to the pitcher. And now we've got the coach for Hidden Valley coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. Let's see if I can make out what's going on here. I think fairly inconsequential, it seems, as Coach Spinner heads back to the dugout with no real quarrel here. And so at second, it's Frost. At first, it's Price. One out, bottom of the fifth inning. Henley leads Hidden Valley 3-2, and it's Bo Pyle. Like I said, 0 for 2 day for Bo so far, but an opportunity here to add some insurance for his squad. The pitch is rolled out towards short. Shortstop Mendez, toss on to second for one. The throw on to first is in time, and a 6-4-3 double play allows the Mustangs to escape the fifth inning unscathed. We'll go to the sixth. Henley still leads 3-2 here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Josh Eldridge back with you, top of the sixth inning from Rosser Field on the campus of Henley High School, and the Hornets lead 3-2 against a conference foe in the Hidden Valley Mustangs. Second meeting between these two teams this year. Henley took the first 5-2. That was back on April 11th at this ballpark. Season series continues, of course, today and then Saturday, where these squads meet up for a doubleheader in Grants Pass. Here's the first pitch of the sixth inning. It's a curveball. Carpenter finds the zone. The count 0-1 to the opposing pitcher, Logan Law. It's Law followed by the third baseman, Gillette, And then the designated hitter, Gunnar Johnson, that is 6, 7, and 8 in the Mustang order in the top of the 6th. Here the 0-1 misses outside. The count now even at a ball and a strike. Looking at Law so far this game, back in the 2nd inning, he grounded out and then walked in the 4th. Here's the 1-1. That one is going to miss. Must have been high. Found the outside part of the plate, but was up around the elbows for Law. And so the count is 2-1. Seems like the strike zone has shrunk as the game has gone on. Usually you see it the other way around, but it seems like it's gotten smaller as the game has gone on today. Now Carpenter misses wide. No doubt about that. The count 3-1 to the Hidden Valley pitcher. Law was able to induce a double play to get out of the last inning and keep the Henley lead only at a single run. Trying to get the rally started here. He takes strike 2. That pitch in around the knees over the plate, and the count is full to Logan Law. Carpenter ready with the full count. Curveball hit the other way, and it will be a foul ball down the line. Just kept bending. That would have been extra bases for sure, but Carpenter gets away with just a loud strike. They'll get to do it again here in a 3-2 count. Again, Hunter Gillette is on deck for Hidden Valley. Carpenter from the windup. The 3-2 is looked at for ball 4. Law aboard with his 2nd walk of the day. Going to have a courtesy runner come on out for him. That's going to be number 5, Lawson O'Leary. Lawson, a freshman. Jacoby Tacchini heads on out to the mound, offering Carpenter some consolation or perhaps encouragement to come after this next hitter, Hunter Gillette. He's 1 for 2 today. He singled back in the 2nd inning and struck out in the 4th. Bats with a runner aboard at first. It's O'Leary. Top of the 6th inning, nobody out, a 3-2 ball game. Carpenter set. This is a curveball, and Gillette did not pull back in time, and so offering up at that pitch, the count 0-1 to Hunter Gillette. Now, I was talking about the rivalry between these two teams. Boy, that is certainly the case. And again, in talking with a couple of these fans from Hidden Valley, they echoed the same sentiment that I echoed when I was a student at Hidden Valley. As the 0-1 swung on and missed, O'Leary takes off for second. The throw winds up in center field. Now heading to third is O'Leary. The throw in is not in time. And so O'Leary now in at third. The tying run only 90 feet away. It's an 0-2 count with nobody out to Hunter Gillette. But as I was saying, that sentiment that I felt like was echoed when I was a Mustang myself, and what Hidden Valley fans are still talking about to this day, is that the fact that Henley has always just sort of been in the way of Hidden Valley for the past decade plus. I mean, you go back to the great teams of 2014 and 2015 and the battles between, at the time, head coach Tim Cleland for Henley and, of course, the longtime Hidden Valley baseball coach is Mark Vidlak, now coaches at a high school in Idaho. His two sons playing college football across the country. But, I mean, just those long battles and a lot of good games played between these two teams. But for Hidden Valley's side, it always felt like Henley came up on top. The Hornets always, it felt like, defeated the Mustangs for a league championship. Now, even in years where Henley wasn't the conference champion, who was? Well, it was Hidden Valley. You look back to the 2021 season, and it was actually co-champions between Hidden Valley and Mazama. But, of course, there you go. I mean, the Mustangs were co-champions and the number 1 seed out of the conference that year. It's a 1-2 count to Hunter Gillette. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. And that'll be the first out in the 6th inning is strike 3 to Hunter Gillette. And now, runner remains at third. It's O'Leary. Gunnar Johnson to bat now. Gunnar Johnson is 0 for 2 today, a couple of punch-outs on his ledger. Johnson had only one at-bat the last time these two teams played, and it was a strikeout in the 7th inning of that game as Coach Craig Connor makes his way out of the dugout to discuss things with Mark Carpenter. We can check in on Mark's pitch count, too, as he just offered up pitch number 86 to Hunter Gillette on that strikeout. So Carpenter still has some wiggle room here in the top of the 6th inning in a 3-2 ball game. While we have an opportunity, want to catch you up on the Henley softball game that's happening over behind us. Last word we got was that Hidden Valley was leading Henley 13-7 in the 5th inning. And that conference race is just as tight as this one here on the baseball end of things. In fact, I think you can make an argument that it's tighter with 3 teams jockeying for the top position in the Skyline Conference for softball, whereas for baseball, it's pretty much these 2 teams that you see in front of us, with everyone else battling for 3rd place and the play-in spot out of the Skyline Conference. As Gunnar Johnson awaits the first pitch from Mark Carpenter. That one will miss outside, the count 1-0. The infield is in for the Hornets. Everyone playing in on the cut of the grass, trying to cut down what would be the tying run, which stands at 3rd. It's a 1-0 to Johnson. Here's the pitch. Taken for a strike. The count even at a ball and a strike. That one about thigh high over the outer 3rd of the plate. After Johnson in the Hidden Valley order, it's Landon Nash. 1-1 on its way. From Carpenter, showing bunt, pulls back in time, and that one misses wide. The count 2-1. See if they try to have Johnson show bunt again. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Tall batting stance for Johnson. Carpenter comes set. The 2-1 is a called strike, same as the first one. A fastball on the outside. The count is even now, 2-2. 1 away, top of the 6th. 3-2 Henley lead. Mustangs have a runner at 3rd. It's Lawson O'Leary. Carpenter gets the sign from Takini and comes set. Big pitch on the way, the 2-2. And swung on and missed. Carpenter, a big strikeout there. Now 2 outs in the 6th inning. Runner remains at 3rd, and here's Landon Nash. Landon Nash 0 for 1 today. He did walk in the 2nd inning and was left stranded at first base. Back in the 4th inning, he struck out. Left-handed bat steps in, 2 away in the inning. Carpenter trying to keep his team in front, heading to the bottom half of the inning. Has to get through Nash. Here's the first pitch. A curveball that misses outside, the count 1-0. Carpenter, all he can do, it feels like, is laugh at that pitch, although it looked about an inch off the outside. There are some times where Carpenter will get that call if he's been around the zone all day, throwing a ton of strikeouts. Here, though, not favorable, as he's behind at the count 1-0. And the pitch. That fastball misses upstairs, the count now 2-0. After Nash, the Mustangs lineup turns over. Caden Kunert, the leadoff hitter, waits on deck. It's a big one to get right here. The 2-0. That one finds the zone. 2-1, a fastball on the inside. O'Leary on 3rd, reached, well, actually, he's a courtesy runner who, Logan Law, reached on a walk to start the inning. The 2-1 misses high to count 3-1. Now, after that walk, now O'Leary did steal 2nd and then advanced to 3rd on the throw, but since then, Carpenter back-to-back strikeouts. Here, though, behind in the count 3-1 to Landon Nash. Having to battle back. Carpenter now from the windup with a runner on 3rd. The pitch, swung on and missed, went with the changeup on the 3-1, and now the count is full. A base hit ties the game. Anything else, and the Mustangs are still trailing. Full count. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Carpenter, 3 straight punch-outs to wiggle out of a jam in the 6th inning. The Hornets hold on to a 3-2 lead heading to the bottom half next. 104.3 and 960 Sports at mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Folks watching on mybasin.com now, welcome back to Henley Baseball. If you've been listening to the game this season, you can always watch the games for free as well on mybasin.com. Free of charge, as has been this season, last season, and every season for Henley Athletics. Don't just stop at baseball, also got football and basketball and game of the week. Traveling around Klamath County, finding the best games to broadcast right here on your home for everything going on in Klamath Falls at mybasin.com. Like I said, Elijah Zauer, the new man on the mound for Hidden Valley. Derek Cox, a swinging strike. The first offering from Elijah Zauer. He will enter in relief for Logan Law, and we'll take a look at Law's stat line. You can close the book on him as a 1-1 count now. Derek Cox, that last pitch dipping below the zone. And the Henley third baseman, even in the count, watches one miss outside. This time, the count 2-1. Going back to the start for Law, he would be on the hook for the loss should this score hold. But in 5 innings of work, he gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. He walked 5, and he struck out 3. And here, Cox fouls one off. The count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cox today 1 for 2. He grounded out in the second, but had an RBI double in the 3rd inning. And again, that big 3rd inning was where all the offense so far for Henley has come from. As the 2-2 fouled back, count remains for Derek Cox. Corbin Hamilton due up next, followed by Carson Pimley. The 2-2. That one, a chopper out to short. Mendez up with it. The throw across the diamond is there, and that's the first out in the 6th inning. So now in steps Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton 1 for 2 today as well. A single back in the 2nd inning. He also flew out in the 3rd. Batting here with 1 out. His team leads 3-2. The bottom of the 6th inning against Hidden Valley. Hamilton swings out of his shoes at the curveball, down in the count 0-1. He'll have to recenter here behind in the count against Elijah Zauer. Pitch, another swing and another miss, the count 0-2. Looks like Gunnar Johnson has entered the game to catch as well. He was the designated hitter. It looks like he's now behind the plate for Hidden Valley. Off-speed pitch fouled off on the 0-2 from Hamilton. Oh, pardon me. That is Logan Law. Appreciate you. Thank you. Confused the 7 with the 11 there. So Logan Law now behind the dish for Hidden Valley. 0-2 on its way to Hamilton. That one sails high. The count, a ball and 2 strikes. Zauer from the windup, 1 out in the inning. The 1-2 is a curveball. Hamilton got a slice of it, but fouled it off. Count remains, a ball and 2 strikes. Hamilton, a .302 hitter this season. Trying to get something started for the Hornets. 1 run is never a comfortable lead going to the top of the 7th. Here's the 1-2 once more. Line drive out to short on a hop. Mendez gloves it on a wicked hop. Throw to first. Holy cow. What a great play by Wiley Mendez over at short. A one-hopper took a wicked jump off the cut of the grass. Just kind of threw the leather where he thought the ball would be and found it in his glove and making the throw to first in time for the out. And now in steps Carson Sims. Been a long time since we've seen Carson. He was missing the last couple of weeks due to a wrist injury. He was hit by a pitch and had to miss some time for that. But this is his first at-bat back after missing a considerable amount of time. He left with a great resume this season. A .414 hitter. 3 doubles, couple of RBI for him this year. The first pitch misses outside to Carson. The count 1-0. Sims settles back in. The 1-0 from Zauer. Curveball, that one misses high. The count now 2-0 to Carson Sims. He's missed about the last 7 or so games for Henley. And the good thing is for the Hornets is they've got the depth to make it feel like Carson hasn't really been missing too much from the lineup, but the statistical output alone is just impressive for the sophomore. He didn't get a ton of time up at this level as a freshman player last year, but through the first 10 games or so of this season, he was a starter most every time. The 2-1, a curveball, is now called a strike, 2-2. It's good to see him back getting some action, and much as they did with Max Price earlier in the year, I have a feeling the Hornets will work him back in slowly. But now the 2-2, bouncer out to short, and by the shortstop into left field. Welcome back, Carson Sims, and a single with 2 outs in the 6th inning brings up Ryan Douglas. He says, I don't need to be worked back in slowly. Let me go ahead and get a base hit in my first at-bat. Nicely done, Carson Sims. Here's Ryan Douglas. Douglas still looking for his first hit of the day, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Ball hit in the air, left field. Could be trouble, and that one gets down in fair territory. Sims breaking for third. Tag applied. He is safe. Heads up base running for Carson Sims to get in at third. Now runners at the corners after the single from Douglas for Mark Carpenter. Logan Law coming out and giving the signs to his infield, although with 2 outs, pretty straight away. You want to get this guy. One of the toughest guys to get, though, it's Mark Carpenter. Now, Carpenter today is 0 for 1. He's flown out to right field. He's walked twice. Way I see it, Carpenter due for an RBI here. Runners at the corners. At first, it's Douglas. At third, it's Sims. Carpenter choking up a little bit. He knows he just has to try to get on base here and continue the inning. First pitch to him is low. It'll miss, and trying to backdoor Douglas at first. He's back safely. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. You want to keep this inning going, so it would be a gamble to send Douglas to steal here, but he's fast enough to do it with a good jump. Douglas 8 for 9 in stolen base opportunities this year. He stands at first, Sims at third. The 1-0 count to Carpenter. Mark fouls it off. The count 1-1. Back-to-back groundouts to short began the inning. Carson Sims also hit a pretty sharply hit ground ball to short, but that one got into the outfield for a single. Ryan Douglas lifted one into no man's land behind third base to get on with a single. And with how weakly that ball was hit, Sims was able to advance to third. That's how we get runners at the corners with 2 outs. And before the 1-1 pitch, a move over to check on Douglas at first. He's back safely. Carpenter an opportunity to, again, add some runs. A one-run lead is not comfortable in the top of the 7th inning against this Mustang squad. That pitch misses high, trying to get Douglas again behind him and back safely. The count 2-1. Got to be careful making that throw down to first with Sims at third. If he gets a good read on it, might see a fire drill in the infield with him breaking for home. 2-1 count to Carpenter as he settles back into the right-handed batter's box. The 2-1, a curveball. Carpenter sends it on a rope into left center field. Sims will score. Douglas rounding third. He's headed for home. The throw is cut off. The throw home is late, and a 2 RBI double for Mark Carpenter. Henley leads 5-2. In the situation where it matters most, Mark Carpenter steps up for the Henley Hornets. Knocks in RBIs 20 and 21, earns his 11th double on the season. And now it's Connor Shively as Henley leads 5-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. That pitch is in the dirt, called a strike to Shively. He's behind the count 0-1. Carpenter hit a ball on a line to left center field to score those 2 runs. Douglas scoring all the way from first. Sims only had to jog home. But, wow. Big-time 2-strike swing for Carpenter. Right now the count is 1-1 to Connor Shively, who is 1 for 3 today. Shively singled in the first since he reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning and flew out in the 5th inning. Elijah Zauer set. The 1-1. That one is lifted high to the air, foul. And bounce off the new concession stand and bathroom here at Henley High School. And I realize I should probably clarify, it's not the same room. The bathroom is not in the concession room. It's the same building. It was completed earlier this year, was under construction for most of last baseball season. And the whole area was blocked off, but a beautifully done building, sells concessions for what will be football season. And I know on our home games on Saturday, the Henley head football coach, Matt Green, was telling me they're going to be selling concessions on Saturday doubleheaders, of which we have one more this season against Mazama on the 17th. 1-2 count to Connor Shively. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing on a pitch in the dirt. And although it looked very similar to the first strike called against Shively, this pitch in the dirt evens the count 2-2. 2 outs, runner at second, and a 5-2 lead for the Henley Hornets against the Hidden Valley Mustangs. Pitch on the way to Shively. Zauer delivers. Pops that one up. Might be playable near third. And no, that one will land in the Hidden Valley dugout, unplayable for Gillette. And so the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Henley shortstop. Settling back in after retrieving the foul ball. Zauer toes the rubber, looks in as Law delivers the sign. Comes set. The pitch. Curveball misses high. The count is full. To Connor Shively, and then Jacoby Tacchini waits on deck. Zauer shakes off the first offering from Law. He knows what he wants to throw and comes set within a full count. The pitch. Hit in the air, deep right field. The right fielder, Nash, going back. That is gone! A 2-run jack for Connor Shively gives Henley a 7-2 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Connor Shively's first home run of the season goes 335 feet over the right field fence, and Henley leads by 5. Jacoby Tacchini settling in now for the Hornets. Takini 1 for 2 today. Grounded out in the first inning. Reached on a single. His courtesy runner Porter Frost would come in to score. And then he reached on a walk back in the fifth inning. Here he takes ball one. Zauer, the 1-0. That one is hit hard. That'll be a base hit into left field. The Hornets have caught fire in the sixth inning. And a two-out single for Takini brings up Max Price. I said it earlier on in the game today. It's such a hard team to play against. You get a great outing from your starting pitcher, Logan Law, and just due to pitch counts alone, you got to make a change. And Elijah Zauer, a quality arm, but for whatever reason, Henley has seen bullpen guys really, really good this season. In a 4 spot here in the bottom of the sixth, there is no better example of that against a quality opponent in Hidden Valley. Coach Justin Spinner now coming out of the dugout to have a discussion with his infield and his pitcher. 2 quick outs to start the sixth inning. Then Carson Sims starts the rally with a single. Douglas follows it up with a single of his own. Then a double by Mark Carpenter. Knocked in 2 runs, 2 more on a Connor Shively homer. And now a single from Takini. This has all happened with 2 outs in the inning. That might be just as remarkable as just the rally itself, the fact that it all came with two outs in the inning. And Coach Spinner still out there talking with his guys. It's going to spark the home plate umpire to go out and discuss with them. And again, just so you're aware, Porter Frost has come out to courtesy run for Takini at first. And now the Mustangs have dispersed. Zauer still out there on the hill. Score update from Henley softball as well. Sounds like the Hornets are rallying. At one point down 13-7. Now only down 13-12. And they're in the sixth inning over there. Here in the sixth inning, like I said, 7-2 Henley. And a 1-0 count now to Max Price as the first offering from Zauer missed outside. Price has reached base 3 times today without getting a hit. So that pitch misses high, the count 2-0. He walked in each of his first 2 at-bats, actually came around to score in the third inning. Then he was hit by a pitch in the fifth. Was left stranded in that inning. The 2-0, Zauer set with it and delivers. And a strike is called. Looked about knee-high over the middle of the plate to Max Price. And so now it's a 2-1 count to the Henley second baseman. Bo Pyle waits on deck for Henley, hoping that he gets a chance to keep the rally going. But right now, that onus lies on Max Price, who takes a curveball high deep to right field. But that looks playable for Nash, who gets under it to make the catch. But the Hornets add 4 to their lead, 2 on a 2-run homer for Connor Shively. Mark Carpenter looks to slam the door next in the top of the 7th inning. Henley will lead 7-2 after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside. It's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
The Henley Hornets lead in the top of the 7th inning, 7-2 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Mark Carpenter looking to go the distance for the complete game, but he'll have to get through the top of the Hidden Valley order to do it. Caden Kunert, Wiley Mendez, and Elijah Zauer. That pitch misses in high and tight to Kunert. The count now 1-0. Kunert today 2 for 3 as a single and a double. Came around to score both times he reached base. Other than that, he grounded out. That was in the second inning. And the 1-0. That one is hit back up the middle. Carpenter deflects it off his glove, and it skates through the infield. And a leadoff single for Caden Kunert. If you're going to start a comeback, a base runner is the right way to do it for Hidden Valley. A leadoff single has him in business for Wiley Mendez to bat now. Mendez 1 for 3 today. He singled in the first, grounded out in the third and fifth innings. Carpenter set, now having to work out of the stretch here in the top of the seventh. The pitch. That one misses low, the count 1-0. Like I said, Carpenter trying to go for a complete game on the mound in this one as he comes set with the 1-0. Pitch is a big bender called a strike, 1-1. Carpenter has gone the distance in all but one of his starts this season. And that was when he went 6 2/3 against Hidden Valley last time these teams met. He just couldn't get the final out. Every other time, though, he has pitched a complete game out there on the hill. Right now, behind the count 2-1 against Wiley Mendez. Here's a pitch. A curveball offered up at and missed. Now the count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mendez. Hidden Valley shortstop with Elijah Zauer on deck. Big gap on the right side of the infield with the first baseman Hamilton holding the runner. Max Price playing at double play depth. Here's the 2-2. Hit in the air, out of play, foul. So we'll do it again. 2-2 to Wiley Mendez. Mendez has made some spectacular plays on the defensive end today, but now his team needs him to come up big in the batter's box. Try to get on base. His team down by 5 in the top of the 7th. Here's the 2-2 curveball back up the middle. Shively up with it onto second for 1. A 6-3 double play stifles a Hidden Valley rally in the 7th, but only 2 outs for Elijah Zauer to try to get one started of his own. And for what it's worth, the Henley rally in the bottom of the 6th all came with 2 outs. And so baseball can be a funny game that way. Mustang fans shouldn't be packing their bags just yet, with Elijah Zauer, who's 3 for 3 on the ball game, due up next. Zauer singled in the first, third, and fifth innings. He hasn't come around to score any of those times. First pitch to him here. Taken for a strike on the outside. Zauer displeased with that call, but he's behind in the count 0-1. Carpenter from the windup. The pitch. That one is going to miss low. The count even now, a ball and a strike. Zauer started the game catching, took over pitching duties in the 6th inning, and allowed those runs to come across for Henley. I'm sure he would love to do the right thing and try to get a 2-out rally started of his own here, but easier said than done against a guy like Carpenter who's been dealing ever since the first inning. The 2-1. Check swing, and the miss is low. The count now 3 balls and a strike. Zauer hands low. Ready for a heater and a 3-1 count from Carpenter. The pitch is a fastball that misses wide, so Zauer gets on base with 2 outs in the 7th. And this brings up Jack Matthew. And we're going to see Coach Craig Connor come on out of the dugout here. This could spell the end for Mark Carpenter, again, just due to pitch counts. And it does. Again, Carpenter gives the Hornets 6 2/3 against the Mustangs. It'll be up to somebody else to try to slam the door. We'll find out who after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Hornets lead the Mustangs 7-2.
What rhymes with great?
Participate
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Top of the 7th inning and 2 outs as the Hornets have made a pitching change. Max Price comes in to take over for Mark Carpenter. Looking at the season so far for Price, a small sample size. This is his 6th appearance of the season. 8 2/3 innings pitched. Price with an ERA of about 4. But again, he missed most of the middle part of this season with a shoulder injury and has come back. He pitched against Junction City last weekend. And he only had to work 1 inning in that game, and he did so flawlessly, including 2 strikeouts. Today, he only needs 1 out. And with a runner at first and his team up by 5, he's got some time to work it out as Jack Matthew steps in. The pitch, curveball, ball 1. Groans from the Henley fans. They thought that curveball should have been a strike, but instead, Matthew ahead in the count 1-0. The pitch from Price. That one misses down and in. The count 2-0. All Price has to do here really is throw strikes. Try to get Hidden Valley to put a ball in play to end the game. Can't afford to walk a couple of guys on base as you get towards the middle of this order as the 2-0 finally finds the zone, 2-1. After Matthew, you've got Mauricio Mendez and Logan Law, who can certainly be dangerous hitters. The 2-1, a curveball hit hard left field. That's going to get down. Could be extra bases. Well, in fact, Zauer is going to pull up at second himself. So Hidden Valley just trying to keep guys on base there. Zauer to second. Matthew aboard after the single. He's now 2 for 4 today. And here's Mauricio Mendez, who's 0 for 3 in this contest. He grounded out in the first, popped out in the third, and grounded into a double play in the 5th inning. Runner aboard at second is Zauer. Aboard at first is Matthew. Henley leads 7-2. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Max Price comes set. And the pitch. That's a slow roller out to short. Shively charging. It eats him up at short. And the bases are loaded after the error for Logan Law. Zauer to third, Matthew to second. Mendez now aboard at first. A routine ground ball skipped up on Shively, and this game continues. Law was the starting pitcher today, has since changed over to catching duties for the Mustangs. At the plate, though, he's 0 for 1. He did ground out in the second, but has walked twice since then. And a strike called on the outer third. Now, the best thing that Law can do here is actually just get a base hit. If you hit a home run here, you're still down a run. And so just getting on base and keeping guys out there is what he's trying to do for Hunter Gillette on deck. The 0-1 in the dirt, 1-1. Henley, for their part, scored 3 runs in the third. They added 4 more in the 6th. Looks like they're going to have needed every bit of that insurance. Bases loaded, 2 outs for the Mustangs. The pitch, called a ball on the outer third. Or I guess it was in the dirt as well, even if it was over the plate. The count 2-1. Set is Price with the 2-1. The pitch. That one's hit to right field. Pimley coming in. He will make the catch. Lays out to end the ball game. Carson Pimley saves some runs and saves the game for the Henley Hornets. And that will be the ballgame. Was that Sims out there and left? Oh, my goodness, I didn't even know he was out there. Carson with a play to end the game. And replaced Pimley out there and saves the game for his team. Henley with a 7-2 win over Hidden Valley. We'll be back to recap that one for you in just a bit here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Final score here from Rosser Field at Henley High School. The Henley Hornets dispatched the Hidden Valley Mustangs by a 7-2 final score. For Henley, 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. They left 7 runners on base today. For Hidden Valley, 2 runs on 10 hits, no errors for the Mustangs, and they left 8 runners on base today. The winning pitcher was Mark Carpenter, worked 6 2/3 innings, gave up 9 of those 10 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks. He struck out 7 batters. The losing pitcher today will go to Logan Law, who gave up 4 hits and 3 runs over 5 innings of work. He walked 5, and he struck out 3. Max Price came in and slammed the door for Henley, getting the final out. He did allow a hit to get there, but pitched 1/3 of an inning and got the job done. Want to highlight our Pacific Power play of the day today. Goes to none other than Connor Shively with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th inning to extend Henley's lead and eventually allow them to hold on and win this one. A couple of other notables for Henley. A 1-for-2 day with 2 RBI for Mark Carpenter. That came on a double in the 6th inning. Jacoby Takini finished 2 for 3 as well. Those are all of your multi-hit performers for Henley. Want to highlight some good work from the Mustangs as well. A 3 for 4 afternoon for Caden Coonard. He scored 2 runs. Elijah Zauer was 3 for 3 with all singles today. Jack Matthew 2 for 4 with an RBI. If you want to find out fully about this game, listen to the show tomorrow night on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Ballin' in the Basin will dissect this one a little bit more than we do here in the post-game show. Encourage you to check out that show every Thursday night at 6 o'clock here on this station. What's coming up next for both teams? Well, a rematch. And that's coming up on Saturday in a doubleheader at the Evergreen Federal Bank Sports Complex in Hidden Valley. So we'll come to you with a doubleheader at noon on Saturday here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. With this win, Henley improves to 15-3 on the season, 10-0 in Skyline Conference play. For the Mustangs, they fall to 13-6 on the season, 8-2 in conference play. Back at it again on Saturday. But until then, I want to say thank you for joining us for today's broadcast. Thanks for everyone who made today's broadcast possible, both head coaches, Justin Spinner for Hidden Valley, Coach Sean Teeters for the Henley Hornets. Also, thanks to our official scorer today, Rob Sims, keeping the book, making sure I know what I'm halfway talking about here in the booth. And also, thank you to you for joining us today or for every day of Henley baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. Once again, the final score for you, Henley defeats Hidden Valley 7-2. My name is Josh Eldridge, wishing you a good night from Rosser Field at Henley High School.